They ruined my name quietly, spreading lies so subtle I didn't notice until the damage was done. I'd been working at a nonprofit arts organization for 2 years. The job was demanding but fulfilling. I coordinated community programs, managed volunteers, and helped organize fundraising events. My supervisor, Patricia, had always been pleasant enough, though our relationship was strictly professional. Everything seemed fine until I applied for a promotion. The organization was creating a new program director position, and I felt qualified for it. I'd been there longer than most staff, had strong relationships with community partners, and understood the organization's mission deeply. I submitted my application feeling confident. I didn't get the position. They hired someone from outside the organization. I was disappointed but accepted it as part of career progression. These things happen. What I didn't know was that something else was happening simultaneously, something I couldn't see. About a month after the hiring decision, I started noticing small changes. A community partner I'd worked with for over a year seemed cold during a phone call. A volunteer who'd always been friendly avoided making eye contact at an event. Colleagues I'd been close with became distant and formal. At first, I thought I was imagining it or being paranoid, but the pattern continued. People who'd previously sought my input on projects stopped including me in discussions. Invitations to informal staff gatherings dried up. In meetings, my suggestions were met with silence or quickly moved past. I finally asked a coworker I trusted, someone I'd considered a friend. Her name was Kelly, and she seemed uncomfortable with my question. She hesitated before admitting that people had been talking about me. Nothing specific, she said, just concerns about my professionalism and reliability. I was stunned. Professionalism and reliability were my strengths. I'd never missed a deadline, never dropped the ball on a commitment. I asked what exactly people were saying. Kelly couldn't or wouldn't give details, just vague mentions of concerns Patricia had shared during various conversations. Patricia, my supervisor. I arranged a meeting with her to address whatever issues existed. I assumed there'd been some misunderstanding that we could clear up directly. The meeting was bizarre. Patricia acted confused when I brought up concerns about my reputation. She said she'd never spoken negatively about me and had always been satisfied with my work. She suggested maybe I was misinterpreting normal workplace dynamics. She was so calm and reasonable that I left the meeting questioning my own perception of reality, but things continued to deteriorate. A major community partner requested a different point of contact, specifically asking not to work with me anymore. When I asked why, I was told there had been complaints about my communication style. Nobody could provide specific examples of these complaints. I started keeping detailed records of all my communications and work. I documented every email, every conversation, every project outcome. I needed proof that I was doing my job well, even though I didn't fully understand what I was defending against. Then I had coffee with a former colleague who'd left the organization 6 months earlier. Her name was Diane, and we'd stayed in touch casually. I mentioned what was happening, and her reaction was immediate and knowing. Diane told me Patricia had done the same thing to her. After Diane had expressed interest in a leadership position, Patricia had begun a quiet campaign of undermining her reputation. Nothing overt, just small comments in private conversations, concerns about judgment, questions about reliability, subtle suggestions that Diane wasn't quite leadership material.